Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As Jarl said, my name is Ann Derryberry. Today, we're here to talk about meeting the needs of job seekers with digital badges. Next, we will hear from Eric Burg, Bob Sparkman, and Randy Taylor from Badges for Vets. This project, by the way, was a digital media and learning competition winner.
And thank you.
Very pleased to have you with us, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Eric Burg and I, both co-founders of Badges for Vets, are military veterans, work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and they're very focused on veterans issues. One of the current and probably most pressing veteran issue is the unemployment statistics impacting veterans today. Typically, it's 10 to 30% higher than their civilian counterparts. So we wanted to create this project and issue veterans badges for their military training already earned. And the military training is very structured and has basically remained unchanged forever, and thought the badges would be well suited for that type of activity since it's very structured. So our site asks veterans to get through the team here. I guess I have to drive and talk at the same time. But since the training is very structured, we ask veterans to self-certify, indicate their military branch of training, and then we issue them a badge that represents that type of training. And then we return that badge in an email, invite them to embed it in a resume in hopes that an HR professional will click on the badge and be redirected back to our site and their military training profile. I guess the artifacts for that badge would be their military training profile, a list of all the tax incentives for hiring a veteran, and then the soft skills of that veteran to include timeliness, leadership, dependability, reliability, honesty, in hopes that we create a tipping point for that veteran during the hiring process. And then ease of use in registering and understanding what the badges will do for them was, our veterans are from 18 years old to 55 to 60 years old, engaging the site. So the badging system and registration process had to be extremely easy. And then we had to protect the veterans' privacy. Veterans are very keen on that. And we went to great lengths to make sure their privacy and registration information was protected. But it took us about 6 months to develop the site, 6 months to develop and deploy, and we've been in production for about 6 months. And during that time, we've had sufficient numbers of veterans engage the site for their badge, and also sufficient number of HR professionals visiting the site and engaging veterans who have already registered, who have indicated their particular skill set, and because the skill sets are categorized, employers can engage the site and cherry pick the site for veterans matching the skill sets that they require for their businesses. And to quantify our efforts, or the effects of our efforts, or whether the badges, issuing badges that represent veterans military training, and then having them leverage that badge during the employment process, to quantify its impact, we hired St. Louis University's Industrial and Organizational Psychology Department to survey both registered and non-registered veterans, as well as HR professionals who engage the site as to whether or not digital badges had any significant impact when determining whether to hire someone for your company. And at this point, since Dr. Taylor on our team led this research effort, I'd ask if he's on and able to talk. Randy, are you on?
Thank you, Bob. Yes. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Thank you. This was a novel kind of use of badges, applying it to a deep need of veterans for employment and employers to get high-quality workers. And as Bob mentioned, the training in the military for military occupational specialties is very standardized, very high quality, and a major effort was given to translating the job skills in a very common Army military occupational specialty called 11 Bravo and its infantrymen into civilian job-related language. So our survey was to try to understand the people who were accessing and using the website, and then engage both veterans and potential employers in a conversation via a survey and open-ended questions to get preliminary ideas about the value of both the website and the use of badges in job seeking. So as Bob mentioned, we contracted with St. Louis University, and initially we were going to use Qualtrics to go to veterans and employers who registered on the site and survey. We found that our participant level was too low, so we took another track and stayed with the protocol, but used Amazon's Mechanical Turks to go out and recruit and then screen employers and ask them and veterans as well, additional veterans, to register on the site. This gave us a very good bit of feedback. We did find that there was extremely positive feedback about both the site and about the use of badges, although fully 3/4 of the veterans and 3/4 of the potential employers said they were unfamiliar with badges. When they looked at how they were being used, veterans were very positive that they honored their service. They gave them a bit of an edge in communicating. They saw it as a vastly superior communication tool because of the amount and kind of data they could put through the portal. And the employers in our group were not veterans themselves, so we found that they appreciated the ability to understand the kind of training that veterans had received while they were in the military. So we're looking at describing the population, and we found that we might expect that younger people would be more likely to use the site. In fact, we found women, unemployed, and older veterans represented in the site, exactly who you'd want to engage for a website and a tool looking to get jobs for unemployed veterans. There was a little bit of healthy skepticism from both veterans and from potential employers, perhaps because of the unfamiliarity. From the veterans, they were slightly apprehensive that their application might be viewed as not only novel and unfamiliar, but gimmicky, I think we heard a couple of times. And then from the employer side, there was concern that the actual interview and some of the standard hiring practices may have more impact than use of a website and a badge tool. There's much more in the report, but you can see that the people, both employers and veterans, said that they would use and recommend use of badges. And regarding how influential they would be, veterans, you can see on this slide, thought that they might be more effective than hiring officials, you can see on this one. So it was a good balance, I think a very good initial trial of the use of badge technology and in this practical application. back that up for somebody. I'll just quit there and turn it back to you, Bob.
So thanks, Randy. To summarize, I think to summarize our activity, in the 6 months that the website's been deployed, the feedback has been positive, and we think there is a role for badging military veterans training. And badging is nothing new to the military. If you look at a soldier, they wear ribbons on their uniform. Essentially, each ribbon is a badge that represents different types of training, conflicts, countries served in. So it seemed like a good fit, badging military service members training and presenting that training to prospective HR employees in the form of a digital badge. It just seemed like a good fit, and so far we've had positive results.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bob and Randy, both.